Well, I decided to enjoy the snow day today and stock up some boxes for myself for the springtime. Today, I am tying the Nightmare twitching jig for coho, steelhead, and trout. It's a really good jig. I really like the colorations. Today, we're tying it on a round ball head jig. You can use whatever you want. I usually tie this jig in this style from about a quarter all the way up to 3/8. I just gave myself a nice thread base so my materials stick pretty well. And for the tail, I'm using the Polliwog tail. And I'm going to tie this in full length right behind the ball. You can cut it short. I tend to just tie it like this for no particular reason. And I like to stop my thread and my materials just in front of the hook point. These Polliwog tails are great. They've got a good profile in the water and great action. And next we're going to tie in some standard cut Zonker strips. And then bring our thread forward. We're just going to wrap this bunny forward, stroking the fibers back. We want touching turns. We don't want the hide to overlap at all. And just keep working those forward so you're not trapping anything. And we're going to stop right behind the jig head with this one. So do a couple wraps on top of the bunny, bring it back and come back, do a bunch of wraps on the shank. Really make sure you get your materials secured. There's no point of doing it if it's just gonna fall apart. Now I just like to clean up my tying point a little bit. Just keep it nice and flat. This will keep your materials in place. Makes for easier tying. Now I'm going to come in with 3 rubber legs. I'm using one of each of kind of like the standard Nightmare color. Red, black, and white. And this one I'm using glow white instead of like standard white. This jig head's a glow jig head. So it kind of keeps up with the theme. And then I want to cut these in between the end of the Polliwog tail. I don't know if you can see that. The end of the Polliwog tail, and then the end of the Zonker strip. Next, we're going to come in with a Schlappen collar. And I like the feathers, fibers, whatever you want to call them, hackles, on your Schlappen feather to be about the length of the shank of the hook. And then just wrap this with touching turns all the way up to the back of the jig head. I'm using Veevus 140. You can use whatever thread you want on this. It's not super particular. I just kind of always grab Veevus 140. So that's what I'm using today. And just tie that Schlappen back on itself. When you tie it back on itself like that, it just really keeps everything secure. Whip finish, and then use the glue head cement of your choice. I'm using bone dry today. But liquid fusion works really well. It does take a couple hours to dry. But I do like using liquid fusion for this sort of stuff also. It's flexible. So sometimes I think on some style heads, having flexible glue makes the head a little bit less brittle. So there it is. Enjoy the snow day. Get some flies tied. Try this one out. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.